what was the process like with John Mayer, getting him to play in Halo 2, like in the epilogue? And if I remember right, that was kept, and maybe it still is. I don't know. Maybe we need to cut this or something. But there was a decision made to just keep that secret, not tell people it was him, and just leave it. What was that process like, getting him to do that? How was that? Do you have any stories from that experience? I love John Mayer, and when you listen to that song now, I didn't know it was him as a kid, but I listened to it back now after listening to John Mayer for the last 15 years. I'm like, oh, that's his tone.
Right.
That's him. That's obviously him. Like, I don't know how anyone didn't know that was him. It's so obvious in the way he plays, and his tone, and the notes he decides to use, and everything. So I was wondering if you could share about that.
Yeah, and I might go into more detail than I ever have. I'm glad you're a John Mayer fan, because I can talk about this. So Halo 1 came out and was really successful, and tons of people were playing it. And all of a sudden, we at Bungie were getting requests from all sorts of people who wanted to come visit the studio. Hayden Christensen, who's the guy that played oh gosh, forget it. I'll remember it later. He was that real nerd guy with the curly hair and the glasses, and it was like in that high school movie, and he danced at the end. Yeah, Napoleon Dynamite. That guy,
John Heater.
Yeah, John Heater came over. And that was a blast. So, I mean, we had a bunch of people come through the studio, including Bill Gates and Steve Ballmer and people like that. But Incubus, Nile Rodgers, of course, Steve Vai. And then somebody told me that John Mayer was interested. Oh, Justin Timberlake came by too. That was a lot of fun. He came into my studio and played the piano.
Classic.
They were all loving Halo, as Halo ended up being something that they would take on the road and play between shows and stuff. So, and it was very satisfying to have fellow musicians, especially musicians who were successful, talk about how much they enjoyed the music. So that was a lot of fun. But I heard that John Mayer was interested, and I'm like, I don't even know who John Mayer is. This is 2002, maybe 2000. It might be 2003 at this point. And so somebody said, well, John Mayer wants to come visit the studio and, meet you. And I'm like, I don't know who John Mayer is. So I remember I'm really old now, but I was old then. So I listened to what John Mayer had done, and your body is Wonderland, right. Okay, it was like, and I knew the girls were hot for him, and I was like, okay. But I gave it a little bit more of a chance. I listened to a couple of songs on that album, whatever that album was, you probably remember. But I was like struck by not so much the songs. The songs were good. They were good pop songs, and I enjoyed what I was listening to, but I thought, I don't know how this is going to fit into Halo. But I listened to the guitar player, and I'm like, well, man, whoever his guitar player is really good and tasty. And I looked a little closer, and it was like, oh, that's John Mayer. So we got on the phone, and I basically told him that, and he said, what do you mean pop? And I was like, oh no, dude, I'm sorry. No, he goes, he started laughing, and he goes, no, I was just pulling your leg. I know it's pop. I said, okay, well, I mean, there's nothing wrong with that. I don't know how pop music's going to fit into Halo, but I love your guitar playing, and I love your tone. I love the way you think. And he says, that's perfect. He says, let's do this. Send me anything you want. I'll add guitar to it. I'll send it back to you. And if you want to use it any place, just go ahead. And I said, that sounds great. And he says, but the condition is we can't tell my agent or my manager or anything else because lawyers will get involved, and then everything gets complicated. He didn't want that. And I said, well, that sounds great. I like things that are less complicated. And then he said, look, number one, I want to be able to visit the studio and see how you guys do what you do, not just music, but game design. I want to play Halo 2 before anybody else does. and I want my name to be in the credits as my gamer tag. So special thanks to my gamer tag name, so that when I'm playing with my buddies and the credits come up, I'll be able to see, look, see, there I am.
That's
and
amazing.
he thought it was cool because nobody else in the world would know that it's him. So we kept that a secret for, I think, 15 years. I mean, I never asked permission if it's okay to talk to people about it, but I figure by this point it's like everybody knows.
Yeah.
It's come out. I'm sure he's happy that people know. I'm sure he's got new management. Nobody cares. Microsoft still, who knows? Microsoft still might like sue me for doing something.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was really fun. That was just a guy who loved playing the game, wanted the same thing that you guys have, which is you want bragging rights with your buddies on the couch playing co-op or playing multiplayer. And that's what he wanted to do. And then, but what he contributed was super tasty. I loved it. And I came back years later. I think it was just a couple of years ago where I found all the takes that he had done and I put them together. I think you used some of that, didn't you, in your video?
Yeah, it's the opening. That song in particular is just like, oh, it's so good. So I'm like, opening, start of the video, let's set the tone right away. What this is
good
about.
Good choice. Nice music, like I said.
It's brilliant. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I love it.
Well, what I love about what John did is, which is what all good musicians do. Like as a composer, you can do a lot yourself, especially now with technology and stuff. But the reason you hire other musicians is because you want them to bring something of themselves to your creation and then make it better. So what John did, and all the good musicians that I've had over the years, they've all done something for my composition or our compositions and made it better than we would have thought of. So that's what you want to see.
Yeah, it's brilliant. It's beautiful. I love it. Thank you for sharing. Yeah. That's hilarious. And I'm definitely going to go back and look up the credits.
You know what? It's like that's actually the sad thing is that I can't find the credits like on the Master Chief Collection, but somebody needs to look at the original Halo 2 credits, look under special thanks, and somebody's name will stick out. It looks like a gamer tag.
Guitar Master 3000
something like
or something.